Good morning, everyone. It's Melany Goodhue here, owner of Paul's Wealth Management, and I'm joined by my special guest, Amy Friesen, owner of Tea and Toast. Amy, can you please tell the people who are watching what Tea and Toast is and how you help people?
Absolutely. Thanks, Melanie. So Tea and Toast, we help people find retirement living. And what I mean by that is that there is a lot of terminology that people have to navigate. There's a lot of homes in the city that we're in right now to navigate. And so really what we do is we take the 80 plus hours of research and touring that people do to make sure that they find the best home for their loved one. And we compact it down to about 5 hours. So we're able to do the entire search. We go with our clients on tours. Right now it's virtual to make sure that they understand all of the different terminology and care levels. And also we help people figure out what they need now, but also what they might need in the future. So we're not just planning for care, budget, location now, but we're also looking at how does this adjust in the future with your care needs.
Such an invaluable service. I know that a lot of people have so many questions around retirement homes and nursing homes and long-term care, and where would they even start? I can imagine that when people are entering that next phase of their life, it's pretty daunting knowing that there's like 90 homes across Ottawa. And as you said, it would take them probably about 80 hours. And that's probably being conservative if they wanted to do their due diligence and check out every home and find out what the right option is for them. So it's nice that they can come to you, spend such a small amount of time because you already have it all up here of what all the homes are about, what their needs are, and what could be right for the client. And I think that's incredibly invaluable. So on that note, actually, I think a lot of people are not sure about the difference between retirement homes and long-term care facilities. Could you give us a rundown on what the difference between the two are?
Sure, I can tell you that that's probably the number one question we're asked and the top thing we have to explain to folks. So retirement living is more a social model of senior living. So the retirement homes in Ottawa can do all the care levels from independent up to very extensive care. But again, it's a social model. So it is working on a lot of social activities, keeping people engaged, keeping people as independent as possible. And it's private pay, which means that there's no coverage, there's no subsidy from the government or anybody else for retirement living. Our clients, they need to pay on their own. And then long-term care, actually before that, retirement also has very little waiting list. It's very easy. It's like a apartment living sort of, right? So it's another stage of apartment living for seniors. So the wait lists are very, very low. Right now during COVID, they're a little bit higher, but generally speaking. And then in long-term care, their wait lists are quite a lot higher, and it's more of a medical model. So yes, they do have activities in the socialness of the long-term care home, but their care levels are really based on the medium level of care up to the high, as opposed to the independent all the way, like the retirement. So the medical model, the interior looks a little bit more hospital-like, care-like, whereas in the retirement home social model, it's more homey, it's more comfortable. You have your own suites, which are actual suites. Like there's, the smallest one in the city is probably about 300 square feet.
Wow.
But in long-term care, a lot of people share suites, right? And so there's a big difference in the way it looks as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, including the huge wait times for long-term care facilities, is that they're government funded, right? So you can't expect to get, 300 square feet or 500 square feet suites, all expenses paid, medical, this and that, when the government is funding it. So that makes a lot of sense. The other thing I think would be good for our viewers to know is, what does the current landscape look like in senior living, especially right now with COVID?
COVID has been very tricky for the whole senior living industry, long-term care, retirement, home care, everything. And so COVID basically in our area has put a bit of a hold on admitting into long-term care. They're only admitting very, very few numbers. So if you think about it, normally there's a very substantial wait list, anywhere from, it used to be 6 months to 10 years. I can probably say it's probably around 1 to 2 years to 10
Oh,
plus
wow.
years. And so that it used to be a long list, and then crisis placement's another thing that we can get into down the way. But basically that list was, you could get into a long-term care home in a couple of weeks. But now because of COVID, they've stopped admissions. They're only admitting specific people, mostly on the crisis list. And so now what's happening is the retirement homes who can do the care are filling up. And that's where the waiting list of what I was just talking about, they didn't used to have a lot of waiting lists, but because the retirement homes can only handle so many people at a care level, or they only have so many rooms, sometimes they do care on a specific floor or however that home is organized. The overflow is going into retirement, but now the overflow is now more so going into home care too, because now the retirement homes are full, especially in memory care, the secured floors. They're not taking them long-term care. The retirement homes are full on in the memory care. Now what do we do, right? And so people are getting into quite a bit of a pickle. There's not really a clear or good answer right now.
Right. Okay. And that's where you come in. You're up to date on all this stuff and what's going on with the, roughly 90 homes across Ottawa. And so that would be incredibly beneficial, in my opinion, for somebody to be working with you at a time like this in particular. I mean, I think it's beneficial anytime, but especially now with the crazy landscape that we're in. Great to have an advisor on your side and someone who's in the know. So thanks so much for all that. We wanted to give you as our viewers just a bite-sized little video. This is only one of 3 videos that we're going to do. So we'll have 2 more videos, one next week and the one the following week. And be sure to tune in next week because Amy is going to be talking about care levels because that's quite a bit different, right? When you're in a nursing home versus a retirement home. And that's something that you really want to take into consideration when, you or your mom or your aunt or whoever is looking to move into one of these spaces. So she'll talk on care levels, and then she'll also talk on the process because, when you're starting to get into looking at this type of thing, where do I start and where do I go from here? So she's going to let you in on that as well. And then the following week, we'll get into sort of more my area with finances. So be sure to tune in. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm going to be throwing Amy's information in the comments below in case you or someone have some questions for her or are looking to make that move in the near future. Thanks for watching, everyone. And thanks for joining me, Amy, and we'll see you next week.